What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Chris Furlong here, and we're all about running, reselling, lifestyle, and everything in between. Now, if you are new here, I've been reselling online predominantly on eBay for the last year for 2021. Now, this year into 2022, I want to take you on a journey and take you through the experience of what it is like reselling online. Now, I've gone through a series of weeks which have been high, which have been low, and on average, this is how much I've been doing. However, it's not always just revenue, and this is about the average week of profit that I do. So I want to share with you on an ongoing basis what my week looks like. Now, some weeks will have more details and will be longer, and some weeks will be short and sharp and just fill you in with the details. Of course, I'll take you through all the what solds and some of the details in between, but the whole point of this is to just share the journey with you and see what we can do for this year. Now, if you have not been following along, and if you have, maybe you've missed it, but I've got some goals for 2022. I'm going to take you through those first, and then we'll dive straight into how we've gone for the first week of reselling online for 2022. So what are the goals for 2022? Well, I've been thinking about, after last year, all the lessons learned and the things that did work and the things that didn't work. Basically, I want to make sure that I can stick to my guns and really focus on getting the results that I want. And that being, I want to make sure I'm averaging a sales price around $40, and that's for the items sold in 2022. That's not a whole of life. If you haven't been around, you'll see that I've got a lot of numbers, a lot of dashboards that I like to share across different videos, but I really want to focus on getting an average sale price of $40 each sale for the year of 2022. That's on average, of course, on average. The other thing is I want to aim for a goal of $60,000 in profit. Now, this is quite a challenge because depending on what you're selling, depending on the way you like to sell, this can be very easy or it might be quite difficult to achieve. And I think it's something which is going to keep me on my toes to enable me to grow. Just if you don't realize, that's basically $164 in profit every day for the 365 days. So some days will be more, some days will be less. It's about averaging it out. And the other thing is to, when I do go sourcing, is to source items that I know that I can sell for more than $40 at a minimum. Because at the end of the day, if I want to be selling on an average sale price of $40 to get an average profit of around $20, basically I need to be sourcing items which are going to sell for more than $40. So a bit of a tricky equation, but I think we can do it. And I'm going to start to show you what's been selling for this week. Now, just for a quick snapshot, this is what has sold for this week. We've done a total of 47 items, and these are the different categories that have been selling. I've got DVD and videos, I've got video games, I've got books, electronics, collectibles, a lot of things in between. And now, it's not always this case, sometimes it is more or less, but these are the type of items that I am selling. Of course, not all of these are bringing in that ASP that I'm really wanting. And that's because I've got stock listed from last year as well, but that's okay. Let's dive straight into the top 5 items that sold for this week, first week of 2022. Top item number 1 were these cassette tapes. Now, I've sold actually 5 boxes of these. There's 5 boxes of 100 each, and I had an offer for all 5 of them. So basically, he offered me $80 per box with free postage. He's going to pick them up. Now, I've sold this for $400 and profited $340. Now, a quick disclaimer here is, I've picked this up for free simply from some people that were moving. They knew what I was doing online and reselling things, and they reached out if there was items that I would like. So I went around and had a look, and I picked up these. They were just been sitting around, some old blank cassette tapes. Now, if you can find these, they're definitely worth it. As you can see here, people have paid up for them. I did do them a little cheaper than what they were. The guy made the offer, he's taken them all, and it's a done deal. So big win for the week. The next one was this Lego. Now, there's a bit of a story to this. This is some old stock from a previous FY, something that I purchased last year before I got into the reselling, knowing that it was going to go up in value. I originally paid $79 for it. However, because it's part of an inventory from a previous financial year, once again, you need to, I'm not giving you this advice, but depending on how you handle your finances and your stock and all that jazz with your accountants and whatnot, I was able to average this out as a cost of $1.26 for the leftover inventory that has rolled over into this FY. Now I'm ready to sell it, so I've been able to sell it at an average cost of $1.26 of the average cost of goods of stock that I have left. That sounds a bit complicated, but regardless, I paid $79 for this, or $1.26 on whichever perspective you look at. I've sold it for $175. In the way I've calculated it for this profit is $123.12. After fees and postage, of course. The next one was this Nintendo DS. Now, this one I picked up from an op shop for $2.27. It was an average cost of good from that op shop haul, and I've been able to sell it for $110 plus postage, and after fees and postage at my own cost, I've come out with $93 profit. The next one was this Chuck series, series 1 to 5. Some were sealed, some were watched, and this is just from cleaning out the closets, just doing a bit of a spring cleaning around, well, it's not spring cleaning, but basically cleaning out the closets after Christmas. I've sold this for $69.97 plus postage, and I've profited $58.48 after fees and postage. Top item number 5 were these Lego bundles, basically about 680 or 700 grams of white Lego. Now, once again, this is just from items that I've been able to clean out from the closets, just getting rid of them. And I recommend, if you don't know what to resell, if you're wanting to get into this, this is the best way to start. I've sold this for $40.50 with free postage. I've profited $24.14 after fees and postage. We're thinking about this week, and if anyone are thinking, why is this week 1 when we're, basically, it's the end of this week was the 16th of January. Well, essentially, I did a challenge last year for 52 weeks of trying to make it all the way to $100,000, which didn't happen. But basically, now that it's after the 11th of January, which is when I first started that series, I've now done the first week of reselling online for 2022. Now, the lessons isn't necessarily from this week. It's still rolling over from just things that I've been dwelling on and things that I've been thinking about. And those 3 lessons is really around working smarter, removing time waste, and sticking to my goals. And I think this is very important whether you're just starting out or if you've been doing it for a long time, because we can always work smarter. Now, this is a bit of a cliche and it's quite broad as well in terms of interpreting what I'm actually referring to, but finding ways of just doing things in a better way. And that might be the way that you're packaging, your packaging process. It might be the way of how you're storing items and how you're, actually going through and picking your items when you need to send them. It might be the way of how you're sourcing and how you then cleaning them after you've sourced them. When I mean cleaning, like cleaning and sorting and getting them ready to be, have their photos taken and getting ready for listing, all that jazz. There's a lot of different ways that people do things. It's definitely a priority lesson that I've learned from last year that I want to make sure that I am doubling down on going forward. The other one, which kind of goes hand in hand with it, is removing time waste. And, whether it is sourcing for items which, have wasted my time, or if it's decluttering and getting rid of the things which are in the way and that don't really make sense to be selling anymore, or are just dead stock and I haven't got to them because they're a death pile and I don't like selling them. So removing those friction points or removing those things which is just wasting my time. And the other thing is sticking to my goals, starting early, whether it's going out thrifting and making sure I'm not purchasing things if I know I can't get that potential resale value of $40 plus. So a lot of things to really focus here, keeping it short and sharp this week, but I think these are really important things to take into 2022. So this week in general, how have we gone? Well, I've done sales of 47 and an average sale price of $30.66, so quite low, and that's because I've sold a lot of DVDs this week. Margin is around 72%, cost of goods being $54.17. Revenue, I've done $1,441.46 at the time of doing this video, and profit has come in at around $1,047.26 after fees and postage. Now, this is of course not a business operations perspective. This is pure eBay. So basically purchasing, listing, selling, and then sending. It doesn't include anything of additional operational costs to run me doing what I'm doing, fuel, all that jazz. So just to be very clear on that. So we've profited around $1,050 for this week, which is a pretty solid week. In terms of progress over time, how I've been tracking this, if you are new here, I've been doing it since I started. So this is week 53 technically. And as you can see, I've had quite a lot of climbs, some roller coaster rides. And last week was actually my best week ever. And this week we've basically done half that amount, which is still very, very good. But my average week at this point in time is around $1,062. In terms of listings and sales, this week I have stuck to my guns and done 105 listings. Now, some of those were relists. If I'm away or if I'm busy, what I'll focus on is actually doing 15 relists rather than 15 new listings. But majority of the time, this 105 is almost 90% of the time are brand new listings. Now, I've sold 47 items this week. So on a weekly basis, from an average per day, we've done 15 listings per day and about 6.7 sales per day. Weekly flow, which is what I like to call the roller coaster ride, this week has been interesting. We started off kind of slow, we jumped up and then we dropped down, and then we jumped up 2 big banger days, and then we've dropped down, and yesterday was even smaller. We've done it in around $21. It was actually less when I was prepping this video, but now that I've got some updated numbers, I had a second sale come through. So it just goes to show that you're not always going to have those happy days, but it is that roller coaster ride. Okay, so I've talked about the goals for this year, and it's really not focusing on trying to get to that $100,000. Of course, I'm still tracking to that $100,000, and I've got milestones here. And this is not for 2022, these milestones here on the left-hand side, but essentially just for my own goals in general in the long term. So I'm tracking 2 milestones. The next milestone is 75,000. But for the 2022 goals, I want to be tracking and very transparent and authentic and open with you of how that tracking. So profit, we're at 6%. ASP, we're sitting at 41.11 from a whole of life perspective of 2022. And I'm averaging 15 listings per day, 15.13 actually. And then just stats in general. So the revenue that I've done for 2022 and the profit, once again, this is just from pure eBay perspective, not additional costs or anything else that I can claim on tax and all that jazz. And this does not include taxes. So sales have come through at a total of 119 and we're averaging around 7 per day. Now, one thing that I do like to share is perspective, and I'm not going to dive into deep detail, but basically this is just give you a quick flash report of where this week has come in from a total perspective of reselling online. Now, I've done 53 weeks. This is the 53rd week, and you can see that from a profit ranking, and you can see the rest of it and how that kind of plays up against some of the other weeks alongside it. It's not an outlier, but it's still a pretty solid, and it's within the top 10 weeks of me reselling online. Well, that's it, team. That is all I have for you for this week, and I really do appreciate you sticking around. And if you do have questions, if you've got some thoughts, some comments, or maybe you're curious about something, do let me know in the comments below. More than happy to answer and continue the conversation. Otherwise, if you want to see something or, something behind the scenes, do let me know and I'll do my best to include that, or maybe it's another video. But the whole idea is to take you on a journey for this year, and whether it's for you to learn something or to keep me honest or a bit of both, and I think it will be. But that's what it's all about, is just to share the journey and see what we can do for 2022. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle. Ciao.